So I want to know, when is this greater than 0? So the first thing I have to do is I have to factor it, so I can set it equal to 0, or I'll set it equal to 0 and factor. So I have x cubed plus 2x squared minus 3x equals 0. I'm going to do this algebraically. So I have x times x squared plus 2x minus 3 equals 0. I pulled out an x. I factor an x as a common factor. Now I'm going to factor this, and it turns out if I have x plus 3, x minus 1, it multiplies to be negative 3 and adds to be positive 2. So I have that. So now I know my critical points are x equals 0, when x plus 3 equals 0, which is x equals negative 3, and when x minus 1 equals 0, or when x equals 1. So I'm going to draw my number line. I'm going to put my critical points at 0, negative 3, and positive 1. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to write my three, I'll put them over here, there's a little bit more room. I'm going to write, I have x plus 3, and I have x minus 1. I'm going to pick numbers in each of these areas. I have 1, 2, 3, 4 intervals, and I have to figure out whether it's positive or negative. So I'm going to pick a number less than negative 3, so I'm going to look at negative 4. Well, that's just negative, right? Because this is negative 4. Negative 4 plus 3 is negative 1, so that's negative. And negative 4 minus 1 is negative 5, which is negative. Now I'll look at a number between 0 and negative 3. I'll pick negative 1. Well, I plug in negative 1, that's negative. Negative 1 plus 3 is 2, so that's positive. And negative 1 minus 1 is negative, negative 2. Now I'll pick a number between 0 and 1, a half. So a half is positive. A half plus 3 is still positive. But a half minus 1, that's going to be negative. Now I'll pick a number greater than 1, 2. So I put in 2 for x, it's positive. 2 plus 3 is 5, it's positive. And 2 minus 1 is 1, it's positive. Now I multiply. Negative times negative times negative is negative. Negative times positive is positive. Negative times positive is negative, and all three is positive. I want it greater than or equal to 0, so these are the areas I'm interested in. So my final answer is, and now it's equal, so I can put the square bracket, negative 3 to 0, union 1 to infinity. And if you want to, go ahead and graph this, and you'll see that that is where it is above the x-axis.